So with my analysis, I will start with the 4 hour always. This gives me, basically it gives me my swing range. It tells me where the market's trying to go. So it tells me where the market's trying to go. So from the 4 hour perspective, let's get rid of that. I see this as my swing range. I see that low and that high. Okay. Why do I determine that as my swing range? Why aren't I determining this whole thing as my swing range? Well, one, that's a bit too much data. I talk about zooming out, but I also talk about zooming out too far and having a bit of a distorted view. So as you would have seen in my first market structure module, I consider a pullback has commenced once I see an internal breaker structure. And for me, I saw the first internal breaker structure in NQ here. Okay. So obviously that did not lead to a further pullback, but for me, that's a candle close, and my mechanical rule says that is the beginning of a pullback. Therefore, this is my new high. Okay. So this was the previous swing range. You got there to there. Okay. And you can see this retraced very, very gently into probably not even the 236, whatever it's called. Yeah, 236, that got to. Very, very shallow retrace. Hit bang on. So you can see that's an extremely, extremely shallow retrace. And that just indicates how bullish this thing is, even though you got a little internal breaker structure there. So probably news driven, maybe a little fake out, whatever. But anyway, that then tells me that the pullback's commenced. What happens from then? We break up. So this is now a breaker structure. Okay. So here is our breaker structure. What I do is I look for the lowest point between the top of the breaker structure and the break, and I look for the lowest point. There's the lowest point. You can do that by finding a box. And this now becomes my new 4 hour swing low. Okay. Boom. So from there, I can draw a simple fib that tells me where the premium is and where the discount is. Okay. So when price starts to retrace and we get another internal breaker structure, there it is. I now know that the pullback has commenced. The pullback has commenced. We've come back down into discounted pricing. We've now entered into areas of liquidity, signs of areas of demand. We've tapped into the high of this previous little range. You know, this is definitely an area where longs are starting to get some attention. But what do? We wait for the next internal breaker structure, as I covered in the first module. There's your next internal breaker structure. So that now gives you your indication that price is beginning to well, it's finished its retrace and it's beginning to make that next leg. So from this breaker structure, the reasonable assumption is that we can now make new highs. Okay, so what we'll be looking for is new highs. So that is the simple and obvious answer to where is the structure right now.